I want to touch on, first of all, where do you see yourself? I thought this was a really funny question because, or a funny answer to the question. So in the questionnaire that I send out, it's, one of the questions is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You or your company see yourself in 5 to 10 years. And you wrote down closed or Fortune 500, either will work, which are two opposite ends of the spectrum. Elaborate on that a little bit.
I don't care.
I'm
not in it for the business.
Yeah.
I don't care about it. I'm not in it for the money or the business. I'm in it to make the connections with students.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm here with you.
Yeah.
So I don't need a fucking business for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to buy the bullets.
Well, yeah, but now my wife's got a job, so we're good.
All right.
Keep working, Trista.
I think that's a great answer. I mean, I think that any successful company starts out like that, where they do it for all the right reasons.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah. I'm not trying to do this whole thing, but I mean, it's like kind of the same reason why I started the team, because I wanted to be able to provide a kind of platform where people could learn how to make more money in real estate, and we could all support each other and go on vacations and have a life that we desire. So, I mean, that's kind of the why behind it all. It seems to be. So we'll see what happens.
So well, that's if you. One of those questions was my answer was to the advice that I give. I think is what your question was.
Yeah, it's
what I say there.
Yeah, what's the best piece of advice that someone has given you, or what advice
would you give? What advice that
me?
I give people?
Yeah,
is to understand your why.
Right.
Yep.
If you don't have that, what the fuck are you doing anyway?
Yeah, it gives you direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also hits home with me a little bit more maybe than most is because of my upbringing and traveling as a missionary kid. Like I didn't have a normal I didn't have normal friends. I wasn't home during the summer. I was always gone. I played sports when I was home, but I was over 90 countries before I was 16. Mm-hmm. So I had done a lot of things and I had a lot of experience, but as far as understanding why I was doing the things that I was doing, I was a kid. I was just going where my parents were going. So this wasn't like a decision I made. This was a decision they made and I had to go. So I really started trying to dig into what my why was, and I didn't have one, and it was fucking scary.
Right.
So, yeah.
You feel like you have a solid why now?
Definitely.
How long have you had it for?
My why changed twice that I can remember, in gigantic shifts, right? It's kind of like the direction your life is going is your why, right? That's your goal. But all of a sudden you get a new goal and your life shifts directions. That's because my why shifted. So my first one was in Japan. I figuring out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and how to transition from being military to not military. That it was hard, and it was a hard pill to swallow. But then when I got married again here, and there's something that inside me that just I gotta be better not for me, for someone else. I gotta be a better version of me for her. And that's where my why kind of shifted. Well, I carry that why with me, right? Me being a better person applies everything I do, right? It applies to teaching guns. It applies to martial arts. It applies to everything. So stop half-assing stuff. Stop. I caught myself a lot doing things I probably shouldn't be doing. Just trying to be a better person. And that happened because of Trista, really. So it's a lot more when we got married, it really shifted is that too emotional?
No, I heard Robin's stomach growl in the mic. Good grief. Yeah.
You hungry, bud?
I'm fine.
He doesn't eat anything. Of course he's hungry. Yeah. No, Shannon really shifted the way that I think about myself. It's funny how it comes from women a lot.
Do you have a why?
After talking with Kelly, I'm not sure that mine is as clear as I thought it was. So
well, and even
I know why I do what I do, and it's because I want to provide a life for my family that like I want to be an inspiration for them to be able, like I want to provide that life so they can build a better future for our kids and our heritage down the road.
Is that the problem? A lot of people say stuff like that, but their vision of that is monetary, right? Like, so they spend all their time trying to make money to make their life better instead of trying to like be a better human so I can help my family. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I feel like I was caught up in that shit for a long time, and becoming a better person is such a deep topic. Like, it's something you can never accomplish, right? Like, I can never just get there one day and be like, I'm good. Mm-hmm. Like, I woke up today and I'm like, fucking, I made it.
I'm the best me I'll ever be.
So,
yeah, not gonna happen.
But I want to benefit other people, and by doing that means I have to be a better me to help them.
Right.
That's kind of where I went with that.
Yeah.
Do you have one, Robin?
A why? Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found it years ago. Like, I didn't know I was even looking for it until you like, why am I doing this? What do I want? Why do I want to be better than everybody else? And a lot of that is definitely family, 100%. Like, I just want to be worthy. I feel like if I'm not the best me, then I might lose them, and that would be destructive.
I just think it's interesting because like, everyone's going to have a different one. Maybe there are a lot of similarities, but that's always one thing that I can't sit here and tell you like, yeah, I have my family and I have my business and my employees and all these people that mean so much to me and all my clients, but like, do I just have a solid why? I struggle with it. I mean, I can tell you a lot of things I try to do better for, but just.
This is obviously a super deep topic, right? And I feel like, to be honest with you, the reason a lot of guys don't have their why is because of this way that the culture is moving, right? The toxic masculinity and all that shit. Mm-hmm. And like what Travis talks about, right? He talks about, if you look at codes like the Samurai Code or the Spartans or any of these, or even like the SEAL creeds or all of those things, those elite warrior class, none of them ever talk about how good of a fighter they are. They don't talk about weapons. They don't talk about any of that shit, right? It's always about being a better man, being compassionate and being vulnerable, even to the enemy, right? Like, my goal is not to slaughter the enemy. It's just to win the fight. But if I can spare his life in doing so, right? So valuing all life, not just the ones you want to value. And I feel like the culture is really pushing us away from that. And that's a big reason why a lot of dudes are just wandering around lost. So that's my 2 cents.
I like it.
Daniel's struggling.
Damn it, Kelly.
What I say?
I need to ponder more shit now. Yeah, no, God, what an interesting topic. Something I need to dive into a little bit more.
We all do.
Yeah. I feel like I have a very clear vision of what I'm trying to do with the Buffalo home team, which is not like my wife and my family and my kids and the stuff that means so much to me. Like, I need to get clearer on what I'm trying to do with my family, I think.
So this hometown hustle thing that you're doing here, are you doing that so that you're demonstrating to your family and your children that if you put your mind to something, you can go accomplish it? Or are you doing this just because you want to do some shit and talk to people?
The hometown hustle thing is, I don't know if it's related to my family. I think it's more about, I mean, I want to be a good example, like, and I think that that's important for my kids and my family, but that's not, like, that isn't on the forefront of my mind when I'm thinking about this. What I'm trying to do with this is I'm trying to build a better understanding of the cool people that are in our community. And on the real estate sides, and why I started doing more real estate stuff on the podcast, is to help other real estate brokers and help the public understand a lot of misconceptions about the real estate industry. Like, it's to help other people. I mean, that's the point. I want to talk to the top industry professionals and be an inspiration for them, that they can be better and that there's more information out there to learn. And the same thing, like with on the community side of the podcast, which is why you're here, is I want people to know that there are awesome people in our community that they can reach out to, you know, not for necessarily gun stuff, but like I wouldn't have had you on here if it was just all about protection and things like that. Like I got to know you with these two, with the Haley classes and just having lunch and talking a lot. Like you're an intellectual dude. Like there's a lot of good shit that's going on up here in your head. And I think that that's important for people to know. Like this guy isn't just some big tattooed, grumpy looking guy that can shoot guns. Like he's a really intelligent guy, and you can reach out to him, and he wants to help you. And so if there's something that you're looking for, if you're looking for martial arts, or you're looking for something like if he is a guy that you can relate to, then reach out. Like that's kind of the purpose. I want people to know that there are awesome people in our community that they can reach out to in all forms and functions. Like that's the idea behind the podcast, at least for where I'm trying to go with it. Anyway,
that's good. That's a good why.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's a good why.
Yeah. So, however, on the family side, Shannon, if you're listening or watching, I got work to do. So,
you still have a very young family.
Yeah.
Like,
that's not an excuse.
it is actually, because it takes time. Like I didn't find my why when I had a young child. Like I didn't know what I was doing. Like especially with kids and family and how to be a husband or any of that kind of stuff. You know,
just surviving the night.
Yeah.
And then see what the next day brings,
Right.
because you're probably going to be doing the same
and
thing.
it's just like kind of like a job, you know, whether you work paycheck to paycheck or you actually have like a system in place where you have savings, investments, and stuff like that. To me, that's the same idea. And you know, I feel like I've learned the hard way of where I thought I was going to where I actually want to be. And I think when you find out where you actually want to be, it's easy to know where
and
you're
that's
going.
your inflection point. You change your why, and you can keep going. Your motives change.
Yeah, mine, I kind of got into mine. I'm lucky because I didn't rely on my business to survive, right? Like we just did it because like I made enough money between us we could pay our bills and everything without RPG. We just did it because we wanted to. And Trista was working with me. So it was still a part of my family why, but there wasn't so much pressure, right? Like I wasn't, if RPG failed tomorrow, I am no different than I am now.
Closed to Fortune 500.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So if my family life is stable and I know like where my next meal is coming from, the pressure isn't on there, right? So I used it in a different way to like motivate myself, I guess is kind of where I went with that.
Yeah.